Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the Eastern Evils campaign diary. When last we left our heroes, the party comprised of Hoss, Joff, and Bruce had been sent north to the small village of Orlane at the behest of Archmage Vargasel of the Mages Guild in Voxley-Allen. Archmage Vargasel had had a friend go missing, a man known as Duven Stahl, a human explorer. The party was sent to find Duven Stahl, make sure he was okay, and if necessary, escort him back to Voxley-Allen. Arriving in the very small village, they spoke with some of the NPCs, including Valthrun the Prescient, the keeper of the library and local magic user, Lord Sean Pedraig, the local burgomaster of the region, his lordship having been rendered defunct many years ago, Captain Kelpham, the local captain of the guard, Sylvano Rafton, the local owner of the Rafton Inn, and Farmer Elian, a local farmer who had some information about the local area, including where Duven Stahl had disappeared to. Using this recently gathered information and dealing with a handful of kobold ambushes, the party traveled and found Duven, being held hostage by a group of bandits led by a man known as Agrid. The party attempted to free Duven from these bandits, failed, were captured themselves, and met a new ally in the form of Lysander, the elven warlock. With the new allies' help and some good tactics on the party's part, they are able to successfully free themselves from the bandits' grasp, and decide not to kill the bandits, leaving them tied up alone in the forest, while they take Duven and his recent find, a artifact inside of a wooden box, back to town. Once at town, they inform Lord Sean about the bandits that they had recently dealt with. Lord Sean, seeming very, very interested in the man known as Agrid, sent most of the town guard to go and capture these bandits and bring them back for questioning. The heroes found this very strange and left Duven at the village to follow the town guard. After following the town guard through the forest, including being discovered by the town guard and having to come clean a little bit as to what they were doing, using a cover story of hunting kobolds, which was successful, the party finds that the bandits have disappeared into the woods, and no trace of them can seem to be found. The party, unsure what to do, decide to go and find this kobold lair that they'd heard about from the local NPCs and deal with these kobolds for money. Following the trail given to them, they find the kobold lair hidden behind a waterfall and rest for the night, deciding to attack in the morning as kobolds are susceptible to sunlight. While they are resting, however, a mysterious stranger crosses their path and disappears into the kobold lair. The party is quite concerned. Who is this mysterious person riding a horse into a kobold lair? But decide to push ahead with the assault. Dealing with multiple small kobold patrols as well as the bulk of the kobold lair, the party is eventually able to successfully kill the leader of this kobold tribe, a goblin by the name of Irontooth. On the goblin's possession, they find a message given to Irontooth by a man known as Calarel the Scion, a follower of Orcus. They also find a chest of treasure as well as a magic item. And that's where we're going to pick up the session today. The party, having successfully dealt with the kobolds and having the cave to themselves, spend some time examining the magic item that they retrieved from the goblin's body. It is a whip. It was a grimy black whip in the goblin's hands, but as the party cleans the grime off of this whip, they find it to be this beautiful mithril inlaid whip with floral embossing along the edges. As Hoss, the explorer, twirls this whip around, he finds that it is incredibly light, and he believes that he can use this whip in his offhand. It is known as Mikora's whip, and it was believed to have been crafted by an elf many, many years ago. But it allows Hoss, the Warforged gunslinger, to use a short sword and a whip in combat at the same time. This was done mostly because I thought it would look cool and decided to give him a magic item a little early. Also, the adventure I'm running is very, very magic item heavy, so I want to be sure that I give them some things. Certainly something as simple as a magical whip that allows you to wield it. The party also spends some time making sure that they have all their treasure, inspecting the bodies, collecting any loose loot that was on them, condensing it all into one chest, and then they head back to town. They travel through the woods, are able to successfully get back to the village before too long passes. It's not a tough trek through the woods, and they successfully avoid a few small random encounters. Once the party returns to the village, they meet with Lord Sean, collect their pay, divvy it up, and decide to lay low for a little bit. I'm going to have a nice meal, take a drink, relax in the tavern for a bit, and figure out what to do in the morning. As they do so, Valthrin the Prescient comes in and he wishes to discuss with the party. He tells them that he has recently learned some information about a local historical site. With Duven's help, he believes that the party is needed somewhere. Given the late hour and the fact that the party had already eaten and were planning on going to bed soon, Valthrun invites them all to dinner at his tower tomorrow. The party, of course, graciously accepts his offer of dinner and privately wonders what exactly the kind of information Valthrun would have discovered that would require him to meet with them secretly like that. Some of the party do not know who this creature Orcus is, but Haas, the Warforged mage's apprentice, is able to fill in some of the details about Orcus. He explains that Orcus is a demon lord from another plane of the abyss known as Thanatos, and he is often called Orcus, demon lord of the undead. In short,
Orcus is bad news.
And the party are glad to have put a stop to anything associated with him. Is discussing this information, wondering what Valthrun could possibly have for them, analyzing the recent facts that they have just discovered. Somebody walks into the tavern. It is a humanoid walking at roughly 5.5 feet tall, wearing a heavy traveling cloak. A heavy brown traveling cloak. The party immediately recognize that traveling cloak as belonging to the person who rode a horse into the kobold lair behind the waterfall and never re-emerged. The party immediately goes on guard. They're not sure what to do, especially given their suspicions about this character. So, Lysander and Bruce both decide they're going to go over and talk to her. I, as the DM, had personally thought that the most likely scenario was that the heroes were going to try and fight her, which would have been absolutely hilarious. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. Lysander heads over to the table and begins to talk with the hooded stranger. So, hi, I'm Lysander. Who are you? Go away. Lysander, having now figured out that the hooded stranger is a female, immediately tries to hit on her. For the sake of the insanity of all of you watching at home, I am not going to roleplay that. The efforts are completely stymied. The hooded stranger seems to have no interest in talking with anyone. She pulls her drink closer and does her best to ignore Lysander. Lysander eventually gets the hint and heads back to the table. Bruce takes a slightly different tactic. He heads up to the bar and asks the bartender a couple of questions. Yeah, I'll take 2 more rounds of your dark ale. And who's that person who just walked in? Oh, that's Nanarin. She's a local hunter. She actually brings in meats for us. Terrible story. She's gone through so much recently. You said you wanted 2 dark ales, correct? Is it okay if I get the Dwarven Porters? Yeah, that's fine. Here's your coin. Tragic story? What's going on? Oh, it's terrible. Of 100 years ago or something like that, she was living here with her family, and they were attacked by a bear. Bear killed her parents, left her deformed. I don't think she almost never shows her face anymore because of it. So sad. We do what we can, give her good deals on the meats that she brings in, that sort of thing. I don't think she's ever really recovered from it, though. Now, how long has she lived here? Long as I can remember. She's kind of been a local stay at this area. Great, thanks. At which point, Bruce takes his 2 flagons of ale and heads back to the table and informs the party what he has learned. With the hour growing late, the party mostly decide to head to bed. However, Bruce and Lysander both stay up, both of them having suspicions about Nanarin and her intentions. As Haas and Joff head up to their rooms, Haas to take watch out of his window and Joff to go to bed, Bruce and Lysander watch as Nanarin finishes her drink, stands up from the table, and walks out of the tavern. Lysander's immediate gut reaction is to go and follow her. However, Bruce informs Lysander that Lysander is not very stealthy, and Bruce would have a better chance of it. So Bruce heads out the door, wild shapes into a cat, and follows Nanarin as she walks through Orlane to the stables, grabs a horse, different from the horse that they saw her on originally, that one having been eaten by kobolds, and Nanarin rides out of the gate, just as the gate is about to be closed for the evening. Bruce, his wild shape running low, climbs the stone wall around Orlane and watches her ride off to the west. Bruce then makes his way back to the tavern, informs Lysander and eventually Hoss of what had happened, and the party beds down for the night. Next session, the party will be meeting with Valthrun the Prescient and Duven Stall for dinner, and we'll learn a little bit more about the local legends and lore, and be put on their main quest, which will dominate the next 4 or 5 sessions. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wonder if anyone knows what adventure I'm running them through, especially considering that I've changed a couple of things around. For example, Nanarin and the village of Orlane. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that normal stuff. Don't worry about it too much. Please leave comments below. I would love to answer any questions you have, as well as hear answers to some of my own questions. Who do you think Calarel the Scion is? Do you think you've met him yet? Because you might have. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys all have a lovely day, and until I see you next time, take care.